Hej oss valo... Hej oss... Hej oss... Hej oss välkomna till... How are you going, everybody? And I apologise to Chaos extremely about my poor pronunciation of the Swedish language there. I know he's going to pick me up on that, but I did just ask him how to pronounce it, so I'm sorry in advance. Okay, so yes, Sweden is announced. Not the best kept secret in the world, I'd say, for what was coming up in War Thunder. But Sweden is officially coming to the War Thunder tech tree next patch. Patch 1.93? It says somewhere on here, doesn't it? Whatever it is, your 1.93 Sky Shark. Sky Shark? What does Sky Shark? Shark Attack. Okay, so we're going off to a great start. Sorry, I've not slept in 3 days. I'm a little bit fanatic. Also, a new pilot model for the Swedish tech tree as well, which is kind of neat. Looks like a new pilot outfit, so that's kind of cool. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? So, just announced via stream, there are a lot of things coming in the next patch, and hype train time. Choo choo. Yeah, you know, hype train time. But anyway, I think this is something to get hype about. The Swedish tech tree is something that people have wanted for a long time. Now, it isn't just purely Swedish. There is going to be Finnish in there. I think basically the Swedish tech tree is going to become the Scandinavian, Danish, Finnish tech tree. So a fair bit of stuff's going to get put in there. So it's going to be sort of like an amalgamation sort of tech tree. But there are lots of Swedish stuff that can go in there. Most obviously, I think for the top tier of the the aeroplanes is the Draken, the Swedish Mark 1.96. I'm trying to think of the actual Mark number now. But supersonic jet, basically, the Draken. Something, many letters and numbers. Anyway, but I want to talk to you about the one that has been completely confirmed, and that is the J29D. Now, the J29D Tunan, or Tuna, as I did read it earlier on today, is basically a prototype variant of the J29 jet, the Saab. Now, this was a very successful little jet fighter, very cool little prototype, Cold War era, sort of like a... Basically, if you take a Sabre and then take two mouse, and then drive them into the Sabre and slowly push it together. That's basically the J29. It's a squat little tiny Sabre. I know it's not a Sabre. I'm sorry, Swedish people. It's you know, but if you look at it, it kind of does look like a mini Sabre, just a very fat mini Sabre. But it is a very cool jet. It's a Saab. Saab have made some amazing jet aircraft in their time. Fantastic aviation company, and it's very cool to get the Swedish tech tree coming. As for the J29D, which is the variant we're getting here, it was a single test prototype for the Ghost RM2A turbojet engine, which had a afterburner thrust system to it. So it was capable of about 980 kilometers per hour, getting up to 1,000 kilometers per hour. So this thing's going to be pretty fast. It's going to be a nippy little thing. So, dear friends, we've got some great news. New playable nation is coming to the game, War Thunder in Shark Attack. Update Sweden, we're kicking off our roulette of Swedish military vehicles with the aircraft, blah blah blah. We're offering early access to Sweden's tech tree, blah blah blah, pre-order, blah blah blah. You get the usual thing. So $40 US, $49 US, $50 US will get you the J29D, which will be a rank 5 Swedish plane. I don't know if actually we saw in here what the BR is going to be. Also the Promiashki, which is a Finnish plane, but we'll get to that in a second. There are lots of other vehicles announced. Of course, this is just their dev test server. So 7.3 it looks like, and that looks like it's going to be way too low a BR. 7.3 does not look right, considering this will get AIM-9Bs as well, I believe. It should get AIM-9B Sidewinders, or at least a heck ton of rockets, as well as 30mm Aden cannons, 4 of them in fact. So what we get, we're offering our players a modified prototype of the Swedish barrel, the J29D. Compared to the previous variant, it boasts a new powerful engine, as we just said. Powertrain licensed Ghost engine has been replaced with the SFA RM2B engine with afterburner. I believe that was a Ghost anyway. So 25% greater thrust, so it's faster. Basically, fast little tiny squat boy. This jet fighter is able to achieve slightly over 1,000 km per hour at sea level, with a 55 meter per second climb rate. That's fairly decent with the afterburner. Instead of 20mm cannons, the aircraft is fitted with the British 30mm Aden licensed cannon. So it was a licensed variant of the cannon. So yeah, this thing's going to be quite cool, and it looks very cool. From version B, the aircraft got wing-mounted racks for 75, 145, 150 and 180mm rockets for ground and naval targets. The final product is a well-built jet fighter with excellent fight characteristics, powerful frontal armament for air battles, and assault suspension for taking out ground forces. The J29D's direct peers in the game are the American Sabre, the Soviet MiG-15 Bis. The J29D displays bold individuality in every aspect. Its unusual appearance is excellent combined with speed, maneuverability, as well as versatility. So the J29D is going to be a pretty awesome little jet. One of the big things about this thing is it's very small. It's a small boy. It is a very compact plane, and that means it's very maneuverable as well. As stated, this thing had some incredibly interesting rockets. The standard versions were fitted with Hispano Mach 5 autocannons, so 20mm Hispanos. So this one gets the Adens instead. It had the AIM-9 Sidewinder, which was the RB24. So the RB24, and also, if that is to be read correctly, then it will get the anti-ship missile, the anti-ship rockets, which are 180mm rockets for anti-ship. So big boy rockets, basically. Huge big ass rockets for blowing up ships, that just sat on the bottom of the wings, kind of like I think it would be the Mighty Mouse. I'm trying to think of the actual variant now, but basically a big ass rocket that is going to cause a lot of damage. As I said, the really cool thing is, obviously, there is I'm pretty sure that's a new flight model for the fighter pilot, so that's kind of cool. But of course, this does give you the full Swedish branch. Now, obviously, don't know what the Swedish branch is going to be, can speculate about that in the very near future. I'm pretty sure we can work out the sort of the composition of the Swedish tech tree, like there are a few planes that are going to be obviously going to be in there. So I might do a speculation video in the future. But as I said, the other big development was the Finnish aeroplane. So we're finally getting another Finnish plane in there, the Polarmontka, which is a Finnish designed plane. It's very similar to the G55. It's like a G55 and a BF109, so it has the Daimler-Benz engine, the DB6 engine? 605. Sorry, 605 engine in it. Sorry, I always call it a DB605 engine in it, so I think this is going to be very similar to what we have with the G55 series of planes. As you can see, it looks very similar, in fact, to the G55. There is a slight difference in the tail section. It's actually a little bit squatter. The plane is going to be equipped with, well, obviously we can see here, two 12.7mm LK-42 machine guns, effectively 50 cal machine guns, and also the 151 20mm machine gun through the nose section. So it's going to be two top mounted machine guns and one in the center, so a good central mass of fire, which is going to cause lots of damage. Battle rating of 2.7, I don't see that being the actual battle rating. I think that possibly might be a little bit wrong, because as I say, this is the test server, not even a dev server. This is the test server, so it's you know, its stuff on here is going to change quite a lot, but it is very cool to see. This is also the arcade, I think, test, yeah, but it's a cool plane to come into the game. There was only one of these built. I think it was a prototype. It was built by the Finns, as I said, so it's just basically a sort of Finnish variant of that plane, and it's cool to see. It's cool. It's going to be cool to have that in the game, but I think the one everybody's going to be looking forward to is the J29D. Obviously, I think it's probably going to be a sort of 8.0, 8.7-ish type BR plane. Like if we actually look at what we've got at the moment in the plane range, where are we going? We want to go to USSR. So MiG-15s, you know, so 8.7. That sort of 8.7 range. It's kind of equivalent to the MiG-15, but it is much, much faster, obviously. So I think it's honestly going to be most similar in performance to the Xiaoyang F5, but it's going to be much more capable, much more maneuverable, and also having those quad Aidens on board is going to make it extremely deadly. One of the things that really makes the G91R3 variant so good is the twin Aiden cannons on board. You're getting 4 of these on the Saab, and they are very, very much centre line. So these cannons are amazing as they are. They are fantastic cannons, but having 4 of them in a very slightly peculiar arrangement, but as you can see, it's sort of in that clustered arrangement in the front of the nose cone, is going to make this thing absolutely mental head on. This thing is going to punch above its weight, and I can foresee it being problematic to balance its BR, especially if it does get the AIM-9B sidewinders. But as I said, I think 8.7 is probably going to be its BR rating, so it's going to be interesting in that respect. It is a very small target, as I said. It is tiny. Like, this thing is a very it's a very small boy, and it's, you know, it is just a very cool little plane. But the thing about it is it's very maneuverable, and that's going to be the big selling point of this plane. It's going to have very good maneuverability. It's going to be very capable, and I foresee this thing being an absolute terror. As you can see, just again, this is test server, so obviously this is going to change a fair bit, but it's got some seriously good thrust to it. It's got that nice bit of maneuverability. It's going to be a pretty deadly little plane, and yeah, I can foresee this thing being an absolute nightmare to face. Other things that we saw with the MP3, obviously, this is going to have the ability to fire missiles through its cannon, if we have that there. So the 100mm cannon has the ability to fire missiles as well as standard rounds, and then it's got the 30mm autocannon, and it's an extremely long autocannon as well, and then a 7.62mm coaxial. But that autocannon is going to be pretty deadly. It has 2 separate breaches for that, so possibly this thing is going to eat breach shots quite well and be pretty hard to kill. They also talked a little bit about the new armor analysis tool, which basically you can use to show like an actual hit. So it will actually show things when it's actually hit. You'll actually get the full kill cam. I guess one of the other things that they showed was the Vickers Mark 7, of course, which is going to be pretty damn good. It's basically, I think it's sort of a Leo chassis with a British L11 to it. Obviously top tier premium tank for Britain. The other thing as well is there is the Hunter FGA9, which is a Rhodesian variant of the Hunter. It was an export version of the Hunter, and it's going to be the 10.0 British premium jet. So again, it's going to be a very, very capable jet, and it's going to be a very fast jet. It's just essentially a Hunter. But instead of getting the awesome Hunter missiles, I think it only gets the AIM-9Bs. So we'll have to see how that goes in the future. One other thing they did kind of spoil was Germany's getting the BMP. They spoiled it. They kind of showed it by accident, as I say, sort of. They didn't want to show it apparently, but they clicked on the wrong button. Ha ha ha. So yeah, it's kind of going to be interesting to see how this thing goes. The F-89D is getting proximity fuses. The other thing about the BMP-3 is it has dual action Atgms. So what a dual action is, basically it's 2 separate rockets essentially. So the first one will go through the composite armor, and then the second one will penetrate that. So it's going to be the most OP vehicle in game. Effectively, it's going to be an absolute nightmare, and it's going to be probably the best little thing there is. So the ATGMs on this thing is going to be absolutely nuts. So this is a protection analysis. As you can see, this has actually spaced armor in the top as well. So again, this thing is going to be just incredibly strong. But as you can see here, when you puncture, you actually get the kill cam instead of just what roughly is going to happen. So it's kind of a better protection analysis. I guess one other thing they did show that's kind of cool is just the interior of the Helimachopter. The new premium helicopters have actually got the screens in the cockpit view, so you can actually get the cameras lined up, and it's only for certain helicopters of course, but new cockpit that's going to allow you to actually choose between different screens and stuff, which is kind of cool, I guess. But the new helicopters are just looking like they're going to be absolutely monstrous. They're going to be incredibly overpowered. But I think if we can take one thing away from this that's positive, is the Swedish tech tree. It's going to be cool. I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's not a copy and paste tech tree, although I imagine they are going to add a fair few copy and paste vehicles into there. Just a feeling I have, unfortunately. But, well, that's it really. So I'm going to end the video there because I've been waffling on long enough, I think. Let me know in the comments what you're excited about. Let me know what you think about the Swedish tech tree coming. I say Scandinavian tech tree coming. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good day. This is me, a very tired Scree, out. Bye bye.